Hello and welcome to, I forgot the name of the show again, Majunda Minute. This is, once again, not keeping track of the episodes and the episode names and whatnot, but, we've got a new one, and this one specifically for the patch notes for 2.14, which are it's the Imperator Sucus update. And today I'm joined by a new guest. Please welcome Kristorex.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And he's going to be joining me and as we go through the patch notes that were released earlier today, give our thoughts and whatnot, and generally how these patch note things go. So let's start with the new creatures. So we'll start with the regular creatures. We've got two new regular creatures. That's Prenondactylus and Erignathus, or Erignathus, whatever it is, however it's pronounced.
Mm.
Prenondactylus is a rare flocking creature, um, and Erignathus is an epic flocking creature. And both of these are pterosaurs, so these are the first flocking pterosaurs we've gotten.
Yeah, they look cool. I like them.
Yeah, I've seen a good amount of people on Twitter, especially, really like the Argnathus because it looks paleo accurate, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
red coloration.
Yeah, they look cute.
Unfortunately, it is an event exclusive, so this is going to be it's going to be a little bit of a pain to unlock it.
Yeah, level it up to level 20 to
Mm-hmm.
infuse.
But I should go over their moves. So Prenondactylus has side flap, evasive impact, and instant cunning strike. And we'll get into the new moves later. And it has stuck landing, which is its swap in, load tide, which is its on escape. And since it's a flocking creature, it has absorb. It has three pack members and whatnot. Each one has a set amount of health. They're affected by group attacks. The standard flock type thing. And Erignathus has Cunning Strike, Limited, Evasive Strike, and Frenzy Alert. And along with that, it has Alert the Flock, which is its swap in, Wing Beat, which is its on escape, and Minimal Critical Counter and Absorb, since it's also a flock creature. But, flocking creatures are interesting enough. With the whole, being a collective unit made up of individual, small individual creatures. Frankly, I still think it's
Mhm.
it's like a stroke of genius on Ludia's part of figuring out how to implement the more smaller, creatures. Considering that, how do these smaller creatures compete with these all the rest of them? Like half of the game is full of massive giants. So how are the tiny ones supposed to compete?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
moving on, the rest are hybrids. The other two are hybrids. We've got Ankylodactylus, which is a legendary, and it's made from previously mentioned Preolondactylus and Ankylodacurus. And it's a cunning and resilient dodger. It's built around dodge and, likely will have armor, considering Ankylodacurus has, 35%? And its
Yeah,
moves
around there.
and its moves consist of side flap, shielded, evasive strike, evasive cunning impact, superiority rampage, swap and shields, low tide, and absorb because it's also a flock creature. Personally, this one's probably my favorite. Probably going to be the one I actively pursue, just because I have a preference for the mammalian reptile hybrids, and frankly, I am hoping that that they do at least show a bit of the Dodicurus features, like maybe in terms of maybe a mammalian snout, because I doubt they're going to give it ears, unless those are ears I see in that silhouette, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, probably not.
And the other one, Odontognathus, is our unique, and it's with Arognathus and Ardontosaurus, and it's a wild card, and its move kit consists of Fierce Strike, Decelerating Side Flap, Definite Alert Frenzy, and Defense Shattering Rampage. And it has Alert the Flock, whereas it swap in Accelerated Invincibility on Escape, and minimal critical counter, and once again Absorb, because these are both of the new hybrids are flocking creatures. And it seems interesting, and I've noticed an interesting pattern that most flocking creatures either default to being either pure cunning or wild card. So Ankylodactylus is actually breaking the mold for once, and is actually a cunning resilient.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And then moving on, we've got the new Apex of the update, Imperator Sucus, sorry, and it's going to be replacing Mortem Rex for raids on Monday, right Monday? Is it Monday or is it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. But yeah, it's going to be replacing Mortem Rex on Wednesday for the raids. It's a pure fierce, and like you'd expect a crocodile to have. And its move kit consists of Fierce Decelerating Strike, Death Roll, Bask, Vulnerability Rampage, Defense Shattering Counterattack, and No Escape Strike. And frankly, just based off of the look from like the silhouette, it looks intimidating, because originally I thought it was going to be another fusible Apex like with Gribolith. And frankly, I'm a little disappointed because I do not battle for Apexes, because I hate partaking in them because they require so much setup and communication, which Ludia is addressing in this update. So hopefully, maybe later down, when this update comes, Rage will be easier to access. Yeah. So, your thoughts? Any thoughts on the new creatures, specifically the hybrids and the new Apex?
Well, about Imperator Sucus, it's really interesting to see that like the first two moves are basically fierce abilities, but they are decelerating. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're mixing fierce abilities with resilient ones.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and even though all the crocodiles are like classified as pure fierce, I would probably realistically categorize them all as fierce resilience, purely just because they all are built to be slow, but they also have armor. Usually not the greatest damage output, but that's also, made up for by the fact that they're rather tanky, and also, you can't leave when you're fighting them, so.
Yeah.
It looks like it'll be quite the beast to deal with once people start unlocking it. I can't wait to see what it looks like when when people start unlocking it.
Yeah, me too. And about the Ankylodactylus, it's nice to see Chaos Effect creature return from the 1997 toy line.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Because Ankylodactylus was a thing.
Yeah.
It's come back in a very weird form.
Yeah, and the Priondactylus, they have said that, it looks like the Tyrannops. It has the colors of the Tyrannops from the Chaos Effect line.
Oh yeah, it does. I'm just now looking at it. Yeah, it does.
So yeah, maybe later down the line, we may get other Chaos Effect creatures like, Ultimasaurus or I forgot the rest.
I don't see that as too far fetched. Frankly, I'm thinking And maybe in the not so far future, we might be getting Ultimasaurus by Ultimasaurus being an apex fused with Trichosaurus.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, they could just easily do it with, either Monostegotops or just Stegoceratops. And there you go, you've got,
Yeah, I've been thinking about that lately. Yes.
and that would be certainly something.
Yeah.
And, I think Ludia seems to look to all places in terms of, like, ideas for not only new regular creatures, but, new hybrids.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
But it will be
certainly,
interesting because Ultimasaurus is actually under copyright, I think, but I'm not sure because um, they may not use, couldn't use Ultimasaurus because it's under, I think, Hasbro, Hasbro's what's the word?
trademark.
Control.
Yeah, so, yeah, Hasbro has, like, the rights to it, so
Yeah,
it's up to
right.
them to, like, more or less allow game companies and, like, companies in general to use its likeness. Which, frankly, like, if they're just not going to, like, why are you holding on to it? Like, it's
Yeah,
something that most people are a big fan of, and like a lot of people would like to see it make some sort of resurgence. So why not allow it to make an appearance?
yeah, I agree.
But moving on, any other thoughts on the hybrids?
Oh no, not really. No.
Frankly, when I first heard of Ardontognathes, I was thinking it was probably going to be my favorite. But now that I know that Ankylodactylus is with Ankylodactylus, I think that's changed. Also, more or
Mhm.
less, I have a preference for cunning resilience. So if I have to pick between a cunning resilient and a wild card, I'll take the cunning resilient.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and any thoughts? Uh, any other thoughts on the Periodicus?
No, I'm just waiting to see how will it look.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on, we've got new abilities. Including these frenzy abilities. Alert frenzy and a definite alert frenzy are they're a little weirdly worded, but it's a new mechanic. But they're with frenzy moves are able to target the opponent with direct damage twice within the same turn. What it means is if the target has a damage resistance lasting only one more attack, if you hit it from your first hit from direct damage will be reduced, but not the second one. So it's essentially a resistance piercing kind of move,
Wow.
but only after the second turn. Well, second
hmm
attack. Okay, so new abilities. We've got Fierce Decelerating Rampage. This is for. I would assume this is for. Most of these are probably for the Imperador raid. So Fierce Decelerating
Yeah, probably.
Rampage, Counter Spike, which is a counterattack for something that destroys shields, attacks by 2.5%, bypassing armor, and increases its damage. Group Fierce Decelerating Strike, Infectious Revenge, which is, I mean, it's a uh, speed reducing damage over time impact attack. On Revenge, it reduces the speed by a higher percentage, by 75%, and damage over time is brought up to 20%.
Wow, this looks good.
Waning Revenge, and it cleanses vulnerability, removes shields, bypasses armor, reduce speed by 50%, self cleanse vulnerability, targets low remove shields and taunt, bypass armor, reduce speed. No. On Revenge, it targets the whole team rather than just a singular. Breaking Revenge, it's another damage over time move. It's a times 2 damaging move. These all just kind of do the same thing. Decelerate, apply damage over time and or break shields. All right, we've got Shielded Group Strike, Shielded Resilient Strike, and Group Shield Strike. These are all probably for the Brachiosaur raid. At least one of these is.
Yeah,
Alert Assist, which this is probably also for the Brachiosaur raid. Then we've got a Fierce Decelerating Impact. And then we've got the very interesting one, just a move called Boom. Is likely for whatever April Fool's event Rudia has planned. Because there were moves found in the game's code that seem to hint towards a certain panda.
Yeah.
Skadoosh, But we've got Defense Shattering Counterattack. Frankly, it's kind of strange seeing this thing make a resurgence, considering the Defense Shattering counter has existed for a long time, but it kind of disappeared for a while. And this one, is lacking the precision its old version had.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Now we've got Death Roll. Targets highest HP, attack 1.5 times. Bypassing armor, damage over time, 15% of max target's HP for 2 turns. Decrease speed, 75% for 3 turns, a cooldown of 1. And then the Fierce Decelerating Strike, you could probably assume what that does. It's all in the title. We've got Basque, which is more or less would be, besides Death Roll, Imperator Sukas's signature move. It's a priority move that targets the highest speed, 100% chance to stun, unable to swap, and for yourself, you heal times 1.5. Increase your damage by 50% for 2 turns, and it's on a cooldown of 2. So it's essentially a mashup between instant ferocity, regeneration, and immobilize, which makes sense for a crocodile, especially I would assume is the croc of all crocs. And then no escape strike, on when the target tries to escape, they will you'll be prevented from swapping for one turn, and when the opponent swaps out, you will increase your damage by 50% for 2 turns and attack times 1. And then finally, Vulnerability Rampage. It's self-explanatory, just a rampage, just any vulnerability move, but it's a rampage. Decelerating Side Flap, it's also a little self-explanatory. It's side flap, but you also decelerate all opponents. So that's handy. Then we've got Accelerated Invincibility on Escape, so when your opponent leaves, you gain invincibility, and also you increase your damage 30% for 2 attacks, and shield 100% for 2 turns. Do you think they meant this? I think that might be actually a typo. I think they must have meant to say increase speed.
Speed, yes. Yeah, because the icon shows the speed icon.
Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't be the first time. All right, and then Definite Alert Frenzy, which is this is the new more or less signature for Alberta Spinos, I think. Where's that? I might be thinking of a different one. But
I don't
this,
think it's for Alberto Spinus.
yeah, I think this is for Aragnathus and its hybrid.
Yeah.
And it's a increasing speed impact that pierces armor. And when you're in a threatened state, you rally heal. You rally heal and increase your speed by 30%, and you attack times 2. It becomes a lot better because wouldn't be a flocking creature without the ability to bring back a flock member. And we've got limited evasive
Sometimes
strike.
it's annoying.
It's just an evasive strike that only lasts. This seems just as the same as regular evasive strike. Oh, it has a cooldown of 1.
Oh.
That's okay. Wing beat. When it's non-escape move, when the opponent swaps, increase critical chance 100%. Attack for 1 attack 2 turns, increase speed by 20% for 1 turn. And then Alert Frenzy, which increases speed by 10% for 2 turns. Target's lowest speed attack 1.5 2 times. So that'd be technically a devastation, which that's a little scary. It's on a delay of 1 and a cooldown of 2, and when it's in a threatened state, you rally heal, increase speed 30%, and do the same thing as mentioned. Evasive Cunning Impact. It's Cunning Impact, but you also gain dodge, and it also has a priority. Pretty self-explanatory. Instant Cunning Strike, that's also pretty self-explanatory. And then now for that actual interesting one. Stuck Landing. It's a 100% chance to dodge 100% of damage for two attacks upon swapping in, which basically means you're going to, unless they have precision or can nullify your dodge, you're going to be, dodging 100% of that incoming damage. And then Low Tide, when the opponent swaps, increase speed 10%, 100% chance to dodge 67% of direct damage, so normal evasion, but you also get sped up. And then we've got Shielded Evasive Strike, which frankly, looking at this, it is on a cooldown of 1. Frankly, this move seems like really kind of really good, because pairing shields with dodge means you're going to take very little incoming damage if what you're facing cannot nullify or break or remove your dodge, which there are very few things that can do that.
Yeah.
Then swapping shields, that's self-explanatory, 50% shield upon swapping in. And then Merciless Alert, which is Alberto Spinus' new move.
Yeah, this is the one.
Target when you're secure, target's lowest HP, attack 1.5 times bypassing armor, damage over time 15% of target's max HP for 3 turns. When threatened, attack times 1, bypassing armor, damage over time 30% of target's max HP for 3 turns, automatic swap. So then I think this will be replacing, what is this, Lethal Swoop?
Yeah, the swoop, yeah.
Which, frankly, that's much better. Okay, moving on. We've got the stat boost refund tokens. These are going to be semi-handy because they allow you to retrieve the entirety of a single creature's, all of its stat boosts for a specific category for health, attack, speed, and they will, for now, Ludia is kind of experimenting with how they're going to be distributed. So just for now, they're going to be distributed as Alliance Championship rewards. So from specifically from a specific tier. So like once you reach a certain tier, you'll be getting these tokens, and also these tokens will not be made available with each championship. And also you have a more or less a limited time to use them. They will expire after 30 days, so you have to use them right. Frankly, I don't think this is exactly a great solution to the whole, everyone asking for a stat boost shuffle after, these past several updates have shattered the meta.
Yeah, they should have done it like they have done it before. I mean, the boost reshuffle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why wouldn't they just do another one, and then they would
More of I
do
think this
this.
one just wasn't being executed properly. Like the whole
Yeah,
having no refund penalty is like great, and the fact that they've tied it to a specific item instead of giving it away for free. Like
hmm
I get the idea because like being able to completely remove all the stat boosts from one creature so you can redistribute them is incredibly powerful.
yeah,
So
indeed.
they kind of had to limit them, but like let's hope we get to see them implemented more into other things. Okay,
Hopefully,
so we've got two new raid bosses, Imperidosuchus and Brachiosaurus. Imperidosuchus will be appearing March 16th, and Brachiosaurus will be March 18th. And so the weekends will no longer be Apex Raid exclusives. Like, so there will be one other thing roaming around on the weekends.
yeah, it will be enormous, like a Brachiosaurus boss.
Which that'll be fun. I've always wanted to have another sauropod boss.
Yeah, and it's
For
a
once, it
different animation.
actually for once it actually does make sense. Okay, and there's some improvements mainly to the recruit a friend thing, which it's not super important, but like yeah, you can send recruits to like link. You can send recruit links to multiple people instead of just one, so that's handy. I have not used it yet because no one I know wants
Yeah,
to
me
play this
neither.
game. I wonder why. Alright, but the creature rotations, Erignathus is going to be an event exclusive, unfortunately. Predondactylus will be roaming the map. In what state? No idea. Likely, I'm hoping as a global rare, but at the same time, maybe not. But, they're not all. It's a rare, it's not going to be that hard to find, especially if it's going to be spawning in the wild. And especially since they're going to definitely be featuring these guys in future uh, weeks, event weeks and whatnot. All right, now moving on to besides the new creatures, the most important thing, the creature updates.
Yeah,
They've went through and rebalanced quite a few of them. We'll start with just the regular creatures, and then we'll get into the hybrids and the apexes specifically. So it's Archaeotherium. It got its health buffed up to 4,650 and its speed increased to 123, and it gains a speed decrease immunity, which that'll make a common of like it a little better. Iguanodon's attack was increased by about 150 damage, and it got a reduced damage resistance, which is kind of useless considering all its moves cleanse, but whatever. The Host Eagle Gen 2 now has it had limited evasive strike, but now it's distraction. Antarctopelta taunting shields became taunting resilient group impact, so that's an improvement. Argenteryx, its critical reduction resistance was brought up to 100%, so it can't have its crit reduced. Diplodocus, its decelerating rampage became group decelerating rampage, so that's more raid, uh, utility, along with gaining a very generous stun and speed decrease immunities, along with a slight 50% distraction resistance. Edmonoguanodon had its resilient impact is now a group resilient impact, more raid utility. Host Eagle's evasive strike is now cunning strike, and distraction becomes distracting impact. So Host Eagle has a little bit more of damage output. Ovalothosaurus has cunning impact is now group cunning impact, and its speed has been brought up to 127. And it's gained a 50% stun resistance, a rend resistance of 75%, and a speed decrease resistance of 100%. So that's pretty sizable for a little fairly underutilized epic hybrid.
Indeed.
Then Stegoceratops, its slowing impact became group's decelerating impact. Glyptoceros, its critical reduction resistance was brought up to 100%. Makes sense. It's got a crit gimmick, so kind of has to have crit reduction immunity. Monostegotops also gained group decelerating impact. Rinchi Scions critical resistance, critical reduction resistance was brought up to 100%. We already mentioned this, but Alberto Spinus's lethal swoop is now merciless impact, and strangely, Alberto Spinos is listed in the legendary creatures.
Yeah.
All right, now moving on to the unique creatures. First one I'm very happy about. Androtops has been given a significant buff of increasing its attack to 1,600 damage and its health up to 3,900 damage. On top of that, its stun resistance has been brought up to 75%, and it now has complete distraction immunity.
Wow, looking really good.
Yeah, I think. Do you think? Well, does this mean Androtops is going to see an influx in use in the arena?
Yeah, most likely.
Maybe. I do kind of doubt it, considering everyone's still very heavily invested in Parasuthops. And Parasuthops is more or less... It has a swap and damaging move. Everyone has to use it.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a rite of passage that you have to use a swap and damaging creature, or you will apparently never win anything. If there's one thing I am still kind of a little befuddled about, is that Androtops still doesn't have no escape, and swap and lockdown is still completely worthless.
Yeah, it should have one.
I've only fairly recently, it's only been useful once, and that was when I prevented a Diorajosaur from leaving. That was the only time it was useful, because most of the meta resists swap prevention to begin with. So, and also, why would you swap into something that has such little health? That's that's a death sentence. Okay, moving on. Kristorex. Swap and lockdown has been removed. So
thank God.
So no more dumb bullshit rending shit. And its attack has been reduced down to 1,500. Its health brought down to 3,900. And its critical chance brought down to 10%. Kristorex is still going to see a lot of use, considering still a very incredibly strong move kit. It's just not going to be able to get away with nearly as much as it used to.
Yeah.
Because I have had friends who have faced ones that who have dished out 5k damage in one turn. Like
Oh,
that's
the
ridiculous.
code. Yeah, way
All
too
right,
much.
but yeah, proper, much needed Forex nerf. And there's also another bonus on top of that, and we'll get to that in the move updates. Terravexus, distracting rampage is now cunning rampage, and it's gained venomous counter, and its attack has been increased to 1,300. That's, I guess it's better. It's still, you're still kind of
Yeah,
defenseless
it's a
with
slight buff.
on turn one, but venomous counter's nice. Bringing out a little bit more of that cunning part of Vexus's whole motif of being a wild card that doesn't exactly excel at doing anything.
Yeah, which one is the venomous counter?
It's the one Dilophoboa has,
Oh, it's a distracting one.
and that's something Terravexus is very much in need of is distraction. Well,
Yeah,
on-demand distraction. Distracting Rampage is useful, but like that's if you're not already dead. Stiggy Derek's Lethal Swoop has been replaced with Merciless Impact as well, so it shares that move with Alberta Spinos. Makes sense for both of them being bleeders. And also, it's gained Raking counterattack instead of just armor piercing uh, counter. All right,
yeah, Stygitaris became really good.
all right. Moving on, the Apex creatures. Host Maximus has gained a distraction resistance of 75%, which that is immense. So fighting is going to be a little more challenging. I mean, you could just bring a good Resilient, I guess. Hydroboa is kind of a beast now. Its attack has been increased to 1,350 damage. Its armor has been brought up to 50%. And it's gained a rend resistance and a damage over time resistance of 50%. And it's completely immune to distraction now as well. So this thing's going to be a monster. Which, frankly, I
Pretty
guess
much.
this is nice because the other Apexes were kind of struggling a little bit. And also, moving on, Mortem Rex has gained a sizable health buff of bringing its health up to 4,800 damage. So it won't get completely curb stomped by most Cunnings. It can live a little bit longer. And then Referendum has also seen its health brought up to that level, its speed brought up by 1 tick to 126. Its critical chance brought up to 20%, and gained a bunch of new resistances, a stun resistance of 75%, taunt resistance of 100%, a rending resistance of 75, a distraction immunity, and a damage over time, a 50% damage over time resistance. That is fairly sizable.
Yeah, it's well needed buff.
And the moving on to the ability updates. Group Decelerating Impact now has a cooldown of 1 instead of 2. Critical Sidestep, which is, one of Forex's staples, is now has a cooldown of 1, so you can't just spam it. Group Distracting Impact now has a cooldown of 1 instead of 2. Roar now has priority. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And Super Distraction has no delay and deals impact damage instead of 1 times. So Referendum is like a Referendum and Hydroboa are monsters now, and Mortem Rex is stronger.
Yeah,
And
it's good.
that's pretty much all there is for the update besides bug fixes, but those don't really matter because either way the game will still be buggy.
As always.
So thoughts?
Well, Um, I'm happy. I'm really happy that Forex got nerfed and the Apexes got their well-needed buff because I always thought that the Apexes aren't as strong as uh, as they should be because they should be the best creatures in the game.
I mean, I guess
Uh,
that's fair enough. Most of them are pretty hard to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
unlock or create if you're fusing them.
Yeah, I think the fusible Apexes should be the strongest, but
That seems to
yeah,
be
I'm
the
happy.
case with Ankylos Lux and Arctovacillus.
Yeah,
It's,
they're really good.
mm, yeah, I'm happy to see Andrew Tops get a well-needed buff. Um, and the new hybrids, more or less, all this really means that I'm just going to have to study more intensely. Like, I have to be a lot more intensely focused on what creature I'm facing and be aware of what it can do.
Yeah, we will have to read much more during the battles.
hmm Which, if you take the time to just read each creature's abilities, you'll be able to figure out exactly what they do. Because people are still surprised by a lot of things. People are still surprised by the fact that Antrotops' Piercing Revenge has priority. Like, still catches a lot of
Really?
people off guard.
Well, didn't know that.
Yeah, on Revenge, Antrotops' Piercing Revenge takes priority. So it's a very, very useful finisher. Yeah, it provides a great setup because then Andrew doesn't have to waste its distracting rampage.
Yeah, really. Well, didn't know that.
But yeah, I'm excited for Ankylodactylus. These changes to the apexes and the other hybrids are all well needed. A lot of them have a lot more raid utility, even if it is very basic. Like some just have group abilities but don't contribute much else. At
Yeah,
least
I'm
it's
still sad that Trichosaurus didn't get its raid viable moves
mm-hmm.
like group
Trigosaurus will
resilient
have
impact.
Trigosaurus will have its day.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that.
Thinking frankly, maybe they just forgot that Trico existed for a bit.
I mean, it's the first unique,
Yeah,
so
I mean, they've probably been looking at the catalog of hybrids and thinking, "Are we missing anything?"
yeah,
Halfway through,
probably.
they realized, "Oh shit, we forgot Trico."
Well, the next update. I'm always saying this. Like, Draco will get a buff next update. But another update, and still no Trichosaurus buff.
I mean, I keep telling myself that Smilonemes will get its dignity back, but that doesn't
Yeah,
seem to have been
hopefully, hopefully.
happening recently.
At
Nemes,
least Andrew drops.
I
That
think
is time to shine.
I think the two are actually probably on par with each other in terms of like strength. They're good, but they're not
Like
going to be
Trico,
like
Nemes.
Nemes and Andrew, and also
Oh,
Trico.
yeah.
I say
Hmm.
Nemes and Andrew are comparable in a lot of aspects, um, and one especially is where they stand in the meta. Especially now, Andrew is probably on par with Nemes in terms of utility because Nemes,
I think it's even
Andrew
better.
beforehand, its like biggest issue was just such pitiful health. But now that
Mm.
its health is in a actual reasonable range, because why did they think, yeah, let's give it like remember when Pucandactylus was released and it was hot garbage?
Yeah.
They did the same thing with Andrew Tops.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I mean, like the two have like the two were both released with the lowest amount of health a hybrid can have, which is 3,300 health. and that's common level health. Now this is far more reasonable, and also the attack increase, and also the resistances are going to make them a lot more, much more viable. So I'm very happy to see one of my children get a leg up. I'm hoping Nemis will follow soon, or at least potentially maybe like they'll give Nemis like a move set shuffle, or maybe even an Apex in the future. That'd be
There's
something.
possibility. Yeah.
But do we have any other thoughts on the update? We've been
Not
going
really. Not really.
45 minutes now. Jesus.
Oh, this will be a long episode.
Yeah. But anything you'd like to say? Anything you'd like to wish for the next update?
Of
Besides
course.
Trichosaurus buff or Apex
Oh,
or
besides Trichosaurus, not really. I think the game is heading towards being better.
hmm
This is definitely a nice update, and I wish that the
they,
future
cer-
updates
they
will
certainly
continue.
seem to have been listening to the community a lot more in these past couple of updates,
Yeah,
specifically because
definitely,
they've been
definitely.
making an effort to address the whole issue of, there's not enough like end game fierce creatures, but like we've gotten three really powerful ones in these last couple updates. Well, Alberto Spinos is kind of meh, but it's better now, and
Yeah, and Morton
got a
got
new fierce Apex. Like that's
the
something.
Croco Croc.
Indotaurus is still infuriating as ever. Because I
Yeah,
cannot
pretty much.
figure out a proper way to fight that thing besides wailing on it with whatever is available. I have been
Mm.
slowly studying the arts of the Entellolania versus Indotaurus matchup.
Oh, Entellania. Yeah, you've been using Entellania.
Yeah, I put him back on the team. He's been tearing it up, and
Yeah, it's useful.
I was about to put Ankylodocurus back on the team, but it appears that his position may be usurped by Ankylodactylus.
Yeah.
Because I am planning on retiring. Going to be retiring Carnotarchus and Antarctivinator and Pucandactylus because I'm a little sick of them.
hmm
Well, I mean, Carnotarchus is just he's like with everything in the meta, like in lacking any kind of proper resistances and having such little health. And the only real good thing it has going for it is its counter, which
Yeah, it's
a good
random.
portion of the meta can resist that now. Tarkus is
hmm
starting to show be less and less viable. Pucandactylus is
Testa.
still good. I'm just kind of bored with it. This is kind of also the same reason why I dropped Testa.
hmm
I got sick of its moveset. Like, frankly, I don't know why I haven't gotten sick of Nemi's moveset, and that's maybe just because I've been using it for such a long time and I've invested so much in it, and also that I have a very clear bias because Nemi is
Probably.
really cool.
Indeed.
It will be a permanent staple. It's going to be a permanent staple on my team, even if it gets a hybrid or it gets nerfed into oblivion in the future. I will still use it.
Yeah, I'm the same with Trico.
hmm Everyone has their
I will.
favorite or
Yeah,
favorites.
yeah.
I mean, Arcto is slowly climbing the ranks of some of my favorite. It's probably in my top three now. So it'd go Nemes, Andrew Tops, and then Arcto.
Yeah. It's a good trio. I
The
like
the
Arctos
four-legged
too.
the four-legged mammalian mammal bros who all suffer from chronic ugliness.
Yeah, my top three has to be Trichosaurus is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I think it's Scorpius Gen 3. I just love the Scorpius Rex. I love its moves, I love its look, I love everything
I
about
think
the
it's a little
Scorpius.
annoying to fight, but yeah, I agree. It's cool.
Yeah. And then top three, I don't know, maybe Endutops or
I'm frankly surprised that, like, Mortem Rex wasn't in there.
yeah, I also like more Rex, yeah,
Well,
because
considering you've
it
made
was
like
really
2 edits of it now, I just figured it was
yeah,
probably in the top
actually,
three. But like,
yeah,
what's the
actually,
point of
yes,
ranking?
Mortem is mine
Like,
first, yeah.
eventually, at some point, I'm hoping to have an entire team composed of purely just weird mammalian reptile hybrids. Because I'm patiently
The day
anticipating
will come.
the day will come. I'm patiently waiting for Ethereum, Sintal Moth, and Aeromoceros to get their hybrids. Aeromoceros is supposed to get Scutomoceros at what point?
But when?
Is it ever going to happen? I hope it does. That thing looks cool. And the other two,
Yeah, it looks really good.
I have grown a strange attachment to Sintal Moth because the mammoth animations are cool. And Ethereum and Ethereum.
Yeah, of
People
course.
take he's very special.
The elephant dog.
And like, thing is, like, currently the team right now, it consists of Smiling Enemies, Protoboa, Antellolania, Anteloceros, and Andrew Thomas.
Very nice team. Yeah, it's not an everyday team. A team you see.
I'm hoping we have all my favorites. All my favorites on there. I think for now,
Yeah.
coming into the new upcoming meta, I'm thinking of putting Tyler back on the team. Seeing if he can
Tyler.
make a Tyler like a tater.
Hmm.
See if he can make an impact. Probably won't, considering the like very poor resistances, and he's built to do one thing, and that's knock over buildings.
Yeah, with its rending.
Rending and bleed, like anything with
Hmm.
high health. But there's going to be things that have high health. Like, I think theoretically, Phyla might be a hard counter for Archo.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. I'm fairly certain it is. But
Yeah, because of the blue.
I don't think I've got anything else to say. Closing
Yeah, me
thoughts?
neither. Not really. I already said my thoughts. I'm just happy. This update will, I think it will be really good.
Yeah,
That's all from me.
yeah. I
I
think
really enjoyed it.
this update's really well put together. I'm excited for it. I'm
Yeah,
preparing
yeah,
for
yeah.
it. But I guess we should just start closing things up. So this has been Majunda Boa and Kristorex.
Yep.
And this isn't going to be the only episode for today. I'm going to be recording a follow-up one with Spinebreaker. More or less, we're going to just be giving our general thoughts on this, deeper discussion. So look forward to that. Also, yeah, I'm happy to be making these episodes again because I kind of lost a bit of the drive. But after making that 4Rex video, it's made me realize that I don't have to completely restrict myself to this kind of format. I can make whatever I want, frankly. If it's
Yeah.
Dress Live related, I can. So yeah, I guess that's it. I guess I'll see you guys around. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye guys.